Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog, and I have some gifts that were sent to me by a good friend of mine named Corey that I'm going to be getting to, as well as some other titles that I picked up for my collection. Um, some of them are pre-orders or orders I made during sales, uh, but a good chunk of them are stuff that I got for Christmas because my stepdad took me to a series of different used movie shops prior to Christmas and picked up a nice little haul of stuff. So, yeah, I wasn't able to show those in the last vlog that I did because I went and did my Christmas shopping after I recorded that video. Um, but I will start with the gifts from Corey. He has a letter that he also wrote that he wants me to read or at the very least share with you all. So I will get to that by the end of the video, like I do normally with these vlogs. And before I get started by showing the gifts that he sent me, I want to give you all a little bit of an update in terms of what I have planned for the channel. Yes, the next franchise that I'm going to cover is going to be the vacation films, but prior to that, I'm going to post a couple John Carpenter reviews. I'm going to be posting a review of Dark Star and Assault on Precinct 13. Those are going to be the next videos that I'm going to post on the channel that are not related to other requests, like the live stream that I'm going to be doing tomorrow with my good friends Matt and Fabio at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So if you're on a different time zone, just look it up online, figure out what the difference is, and if you got the time and you're available, I would definitely love to have you. We would love to have you as guests in the chat for the live stream, which is going to be defending Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, speaking of Indiana Jones, I definitely will be doing some Indiana Jones reviews sometime. Probably not this month, maybe next month. I'm not making any guarantees. I still have a handful of paid requests to get to. And I'm going to try to get to all those by the end of the month. I got some mini mini rants. Well, not really mini rants. I got some epic rants for you of the Munsters and Hocus Pocus 2 that are also going to be coming down the pipeline very soon. So, let's get started with the gifts that were sent to me by Corey. So, first off, we have the Silent Night, Deadly Night collection from Vestron. This is really cool. These movies are very bad, but it's something I still wanted for my collection. It was even on my Amazon wish list because I'm curious about the features, and it's also for the collection because I have the other two on Blu-ray. So this is the Silent Night, Deadly Night collection from Vestron. Um, he also sent me this Funko Pop of Vlad the Impaler from Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is pretty sweet as well. Um, I think I probably will swap out my Batman '89 Funko Pop right behind me. I'll swap him out for Vlad. So the next time I do a video, you will probably see Vlad the Impaler in the background. So thank you so much, Corey. Now, the rest of the gifts here, one of these I had a feeling he was going to send me, and it's one of those things where even though I kind of knew it was coming, it still blew me away. because this particular autograph is something I've been trying, or I've been hoping to obtain and get my hands on for most of my life. As you all know, folks, based on my username and based on a lot of different things, based on the poster that I have on, the wall over here, based on the guy back there, I am a huge, enormous fan of RoboCop. And because of that, I am a big fan of the man, the myth, Peter fucking Weller. And I still can't believe this. This is something that it just leaves me speechless when it comes to the generosity and just the magnitude of this gift. Here it is. After years of waiting, I have the real deal. Peter Weller's autograph. Personalized to me, and with a photo from RoboCop 2, which I think is pretty cool. I've always liked this photo of Peter with the puppet from RoboCop 2. So, yeah, this is just it's just amazing. It's fucking awesome. I mean, there's no way around it. There's nothing else to say. And there's a photo of Corey as well from the back, on the back, when he met Peter at a Comic-Con. But I just this is fucking awesome. This is so cool. Thank you. Um and he also sent me another autograph. This time around of Horace Pinker himself. Mitch Pileggi from Shocker. Big fan of that film. It's actually my favorite Wes Craven movie. Really love Mitch Pileggi's performance in this. You know, you know, I'm nationwide now, asshole. So yeah, and then there's some photos of Corey meeting Shocker. Meeting Horace Pinker. So yeah, that is so awesome. Now Corey, he sent me a lot of stuff in the past that I'm very humbled to have received. He sent me autographs of a bunch of other different celebrities. He sent me a autographed stuff prop from the movie The Stuff, like a container of, like, an empty container of the stuff that's signed by Larry Cohen. And I have to be honest though, this Peter Weller autograph, it's got to be up there. It has to be, in terms of like one of the best gifts I've ever received. So thank you so much, Corey, for everything, for being my friend, for your support over the years on this channel. Thank you for the gifts. And also, to all of you, thank you so much for your support, because that means a lot to me too. Whether it's just some kind words or a like on the video, all of it means the world to me. But yeah, that's the gifts from Corey. And now I'm just gonna go through the stuff that I got myself. So these books are actually what I'm gonna start with. One of them I already showed in a video. I don't really need to show that because it's not really a new book. But these are all books that I got from Amazon. They were part of my Christmas gifts, because I used a gift card that my grandmother sent me to pay for half of this order. So we have Welcome to Elm Street, Inside the Film and Television Nightmares by Wayne Byrne. I am a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, the franchise, Freddy Krueger. I have the hardback limited edition of Never Sleep Again that I got from Indiegogo or Kickstarter years ago. I also have the Nightmare Never Ends paperback, which has been out of print. It came out in the late 80s, I believe, or around there. And so I heard some decent things about this one, and it's got a lot of interviews, a lot of different people who worked on different films in the franchise. It also has a bit that talks about the TV show, which is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get this, because it talks about Freddy's nightmares. So yeah, that is Welcome to Elm Street. Here we have another book. This is Cinema Foggy, the cinema of flesh eaten, corrupted, and entombed. This is about the films in the form of Toby Hooper, who I think is a very underrated director, and was curious about this because there really has not been a book all about Toby Hooper's cinema legacy, except for I think there was a book that might have been made by the same guy who did a John Carpenter book, but and a Wes Craven one, but I think that might be out of print if I remember correctly. But I'm not 100% sure that he actually did it. It could have been someone else. It could have been a different performer. Oh, right. I mean, a different director that the focus was on. But yeah, there you have a book about Toby Hooper. Then we have this big, thick behemoth, Taking Shape 2. This is the sequel to Taking Shape, which I have already, which is a book by Dustin McNeil. And it was about the Halloween films. And this is one that I'm really curious about because it's about the unmade lost Halloween sequels. You know, the Halloween sequels that didn't come to be, and I'm just a huge big fan of that kind of stuff. And I was honestly a little disappointed by Taking Shape. I thought it was a lot of material, a lot of interviews, and a lot of stuff that's kind of been there, done that when it comes to the Halloween franchise. So I'm excited to read that because it seems like it'll be some fairly new stuff. And then by Dustin McNeil and Travis Mullins, same offers, is this Reign of Chucky. This is the one of the more recent releases for them. I think it's probably the most recent release. And this is a book all about the Child's Play franchise. So, really looking forward to reading this because I just love books like this. I'm just a huge, enormous fan of books that talk about behind the scenes, making of, all kinds of stuff. So there are those, and next up, just some Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs, and I'm gonna try to power through those. And then after that, I am going to uh, read the letter that Corey sent me. So first off, there's some stuff that I got from Hamilton Book. They had a bit of a price cut recently, and I got a good deal on these. So we have Girlfriend from Hell, which is Culture Shock releasing release. And then we have Fair Game from Dark Star through Vinegar Syndrome. I know there is a release of this film overseas from Umbrella, but decided to pick up the newer release. Also, speaking of Umbrella, I do have an order from them that should be on its way sometime in January because I pre-ordered the Blu-ray of King Kong Lives, and I also got a few other things in the package, but that'll probably be a bit till it gets here because it's coming all the way from Australia. Um, but here we have another film that I got from Hamilton Book, Midnight, from Severin. And another one from Hamilton Book, Dr. Lamb. Looked like a crazy movie. It's from the same guy, I mean the same director, I think, who did Ebola Syndrome, I believe. So it's Dr. Lamb. And then we have Delirium. This is the other title that I got from Hamilton Book. Severin release. So, yeah. It was a pretty good deal for all those, too. I used some PayPal money that my stepdad sent me. My biological father sent me to get those. And here is another Severin release, Action Mutante. This is a release that I got from their Christmas Black Friday sale. This is another film from Alex de Iglesias. I think this is actually his, Alex de la Iglesia. I think it's actually his first movie. And that one's always fascinated me because of the subject matter. And it looked like a bonkers, wild, crazy movie. Here we have some 4Ks that I got from a website called Blu-rays for Everyone. Um, they have some really good deals sometimes, and it is one of those things where it does take a while for them to ship because they ship through media mail, and shipping can maybe be a little expensive depending on how many titles you get. But you get some really good deals from that site that are better than what you would get on Amazon or some of these other platforms. So I got Grease, the 4K. I only had the Blu-ray, so I'm really, really looking forward to watching that in 4K, actually. Here we have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I only had the Blu-ray. I actually read that this 4K looks really good, and I wouldn't be surprised because the Blu-ray looked good, and this film has a great sense of visual style. Honestly, I would say this is Tim Burton's last really good movie. And yeah, I agree with that from Richard Lawson for Vanity Fair. It's Tim Burton's best film in years. Uh, then I got a Mel Gibson epic, Braveheart. And then I got another Mel Gibson epic, historical epic, The Patriots. And then after that, I got this 4K Solo. Yeah, I know it's Solo, but I had all the other Disney Star Wars movies in 4K, so I wanted it was really cheap, so I decided to get it. The only other Disney Star Wars 4K movie I need to get now to complete the Star Wars 4K collection is Rogue One. Got Atomic Blonde because even though I don't love the movie, I do like it enough as a time waster, and I was kind of curious about watching it again, and it was really cheap. And then I got The Great Gatsby with DiCaprio. So that's it for those, and we still have some more here. So I got this Scream Factory release. I got this at a local resale shop. Nosferatu the Vampire. Speaking of vampires, got this double feature that's out of print: A Vampire's Kiss and High Spirits. It was only like $8.50. It was a steal because that release is out of print. It goes for way more than that online. Got Cocktail because this is a paid request. Also got this because it was pretty cheap. Mainly, I got it for Casualties of War because I do like that film quite a bit. And Birdie seemed like it might be kind of interesting. Summer Tree, I don't know really much about. Alamo Bay I already had on Blu-ray. I have the Twilight Time release, but I got it for Casualties of War because I only had the DVD. Then we have Now You See Me Too. I got that because I have the first one. Because I got that in 4K. And I was kind of curious about those movies, so glad I was able to pick those up for pretty cheap. Got How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey in 4K. Also have this film, Nope, the most recent Jordan Peele movie. Heard some good things about it. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm definitely going to give that a watch fairly soon because I'm in the process of catching up on all the 2022 films that I was remotely curious about, or the films that I thought would at the very least make for some good content on the channel. And speaking of content, tied into 2022, I'm gonna do a best and worst of, and I'm gonna try to do that by the end of the month. But I still have some more stuff to watch to finalize my list. But I'm getting close to seeing enough films to really get a good top 10 best and worst. Here we have Drop Zone, the Blu-ray, Wesley Snipes. I got Virtuosity with Denzel Washington. Got Jackie Brown for the Tarantino collection. Capricorn 1. Got this double feature of Tetsuo, the Iron Man, the Body Hammer. Got the Blood Feast remake on Blu-ray because it was like 50 cents. Got the Omega Man, the original version of I Am Legend. Here we have Short Circuit 2. I don't agree that it's even better than the original by Siskel and Ebert, but it's still a fun, underrated sequel. I know there's like a Blu-ray from, what was it, 88 Films or someplace, but it doesn't really have a new transfer, and it doesn't really have much in terms of new features. Like, it just has a hardback case and a poster and a lot of fluff, but it doesn't really have much extra in terms of really anything else. So, and it's a little expensive, and definitely now I don't even know if it's even in print anymore. So I'm fine with the Blu-ray, regular image Blu-ray of Short Circuit 2. Would like to get the Blu-ray of the first movie because I only have it on DVD. Here we have Monster, the Blu-ray. Call the Conqueror for the Sword and Sorcery collection. Upgrade my DVD. Here we have Rick and Morty. So I've heard a lot of good things about this show, and I was able to get a good deal on almost all the seasons. The only season I'm missing is season 3. So we have the first season. We have season 2. And this is season 4 and 5. This is season 4. Doesn't have the slipcover. I got it for really cheap, like $5 for each one, and this is season 5. So seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5, but I don't have season 3 yet. And here we have the Raid collection. Now, I had the Raid, but I didn't have the second movie. It was actually a lot cheaper for me to buy this used collection box set than it was to just buy that one on its own. And then we have a couple DVDs. So we have Shanghai Surprise. It was really cheap. It was like, once again, like 50 cents. And then I got Vampires Los Muertos for the collection. I also have Vampires the Turning. I have that one. And I also did get Cobra Kai Season 3. But it's a little bit in a corner somewhere, and I don't really want to go out and get it. But the last DVD is something I bought recently from eBay, Caligula, the 3-disc Imperial Edition. Now, I've been really curious about this film. I know there's a Blu-ray, but it's out of print, and it's really expensive. This DVD is fine, and it's a 3-disc set. So yeah, Caligula on DVD, and that is it for all of the items that I picked up for myself. And there are some things that are still on their way. I did pre-order the Blu-ray from Vestron of the Dentist collection with the Dentist 1 and 2. I also pre-ordered the Dr. Giggles Blu-ray from Shout Factory, from Scream Factory. And speaking of Blu-rays, I'm going to share this for those of you who didn't hear it on the live stream that I joined Matt on, Ramble Raft for Life on last Sunday. This is definitely going to be some good news for you home media nuts out there. when I went to a screening of Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, with Kane Hodder as a special guest at the Hollywood Theater. And yes, I did get to meet Kane Hodder, and I shook Jason's hand, and I got his autograph, which is awesome. But while I was waiting in line to get something signed by Kane and shake his hand and get to meet him in person, I ran into this guy who is an insider in the home media industry. I believe he does some remastering of certain films, or he works in the film industry working on uh, remastering of some sort. Definitely works with media, works with editing software, works with a lot of different things, and he has a lot of connections. And one of his connections is a guy who works at Fox, and he's the guy who has been responsible for working on the remaster in 4K of The Abyss. And since he has a direct link to this guy, what I'm going to tell you is 100% accurate. So the wait is over, folks. The Abyss is coming out in 4K, and I believe it also will have a Blu-ray that comes with the set in March. Now, I know for some people it's like, well, that's not anything new because we heard that before. Like that was announced earlier this year or sometime late in 2022. But the thing is, for a lot of us, especially for myself, uh, it has been announced, but that doesn't mean anything because the release date time has come and gone, and it still hasn't been released in the past numerous times. So this time around, though, it's 100% legit because it comes straight from the source. He even told me that The Abyss is one of the most anticipated and one of the most highly requested titles in Fox's library, along with True Lies. And speaking of True Lies, it pretty much insinuated that that's also getting a 4K sometime this year. And it all was due to James Cameron not being able to come in and take a look at the remaster and sign off on it. And recently, he finally was able to show up and signed off on the remaster. So the 4K of The Abyss is a done deal. It is not one of those things where, oh my God, the release date's going to happen and then it's not going to come out and then we're still going to be waiting. No. Um, I just wanted to definitely let people know about that, especially those folks like myself who have been anticipating and been waiting for this release for a long time and have been continuously let down because the release date comes and goes and there's still no Abyss 4K. But that's no longer going to be the case. He also mentioned that there is an Aliens 4K that's in the works. And he also mentioned, since I believe he might work for Second Sight, or he is very close to the folks who work there, that there is going to be a Blu-ray or 4K of Near Dark from Second Sight, and that has not been reported anywhere else. So you heard it here first if you're a fan of that movie. So when a 4K or Blu-ray of Near Dark is announced by Second Sight later this year, uh, it's one of those things where you heard it here. But yeah, really excited about all those releases, especially The Abyss. That has been a 4K title that has been on my wish list ever since I started buying and collecting and watching 4Ks, because I absolutely admire and just adore that film. I think with the right transfer, that film would look absolutely stunning in 4K. It'd sound amazing with an Atmos track, which I heard that that's a confirmation too, that it is going to have an Atmos track. Um, So yeah, thought that was awesome. It was really cool. I also found out definitively why The Keep is not going to get a release on Blu-ray or 4K. It really is due to Michael Mann. Michael Mann flat out does not like the movie and doesn't want the film released. And I guess he still has enough pull that he's able to essentially block any release of the movie. It's ridiculous, but he's disowned the movie. He doesn't want anything to do with the film, and he's just constantly aware of anytime someone's trying to release it, and he does what he can to stop it. Except for the DVD from Umbrella or some other company overseas. But that was just using the same print that was on Netflix years ago. So in terms of like a proper remaster with special features from a company like Arrow or Scream Factory or anyone else, that's not happening. And you can blame Michael Mann for that. But yeah, I wanted to give you a little bit of that update for you in terms of the knowledge that I was given. But yeah, here is the letter from Corey. It says, "Hey Mike, I hope all's well with you. It's going pretty good. I mean, can't complain. I shook Jason's hand on Friday the 13th and met Kane Hodder and got his autograph. Um, the Dallas Cowboys absolutely demolished the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card round. And Dak Prescott looked absolutely amazing and looked like the QB that I've always believed that he could be. And that was so vindicating. And it was just an absolute moment of catharsis for me to see Dak play that well in the playoffs. And I think Dallas has a legit chance to potentially make it to the Super Bowl this year and maybe win it all. If Dak can play like that, the defense keeps that up, the coaching keeps up that level of coaching, the Cowboys have as good of a chance as any other team in the NFC when it comes to making it to the Super Bowl. I'm really looking forward to the 49ers rematch on Sunday. Um, and it's one of those things where may the best team win. And I think it's going to be one hell of a game. But anyway, back to the letter. It says, "Hope is all is well with you. When I saw these two men's name in the Rhode Island Comic Con guest list, I immediately thought, I know what I'll be getting Mike for Christmas. Uh, or more accurately, belated Christmas gift. Before I get into details about meeting Peter Weller and Mitch Pileggi, I thought you'd find the following interesting. I got to also meet Jackie Rahili, asked him a piece of trivia I heard online about whether or not it was true that Johnny Depp went to audition for Glenn with him. He said that he honestly couldn't remember. It was still nice to get some closure on that curiosity piece, though. I tried to sneakily ask him whether or not Freddy Krueger was his biggest embarrassment. I had to use careful wording as not to potentially anger him. But from how how he spoke, it seems like it was one of his more fun experiences. I was mainly curious because the guy who played the deaf kid in Freddy's Dead told me a different story. He told me that after seeing the final cut of the Nightmare remake, Jackie begged Platinum Dunes to get him out of his 3-picture deal. Jackie told me that instead of making more Nightmare movies, the rights reverted to Wes Craven's estate. Now, to the men I got the autographs for you from. Before I get to that, though, speaking of like stories and debunking things, I want to share a bit of debunking that I got from Kane Hodder at the screening of The New Blood. Now, there's this rumor that is going around that in one of the kills in the film, when one of the teenage girls gets thrown out the window by Jason and then lands on the ground, that the stunt was done by a male stuntman who was dressed in drag. But Kane debunked that entire rumor and said that no, that was a female stunt woman It's just one of those things where it looks like she has a package because of the way that the robe appears on camera in a certain shot. Yeah, she does have pretty muscular legs, but she's in shape stunt woman who just happened to have really buff legs. That doesn't mean that it's a dude. And Kane completely debunked that rumor because he even talked about how he specifically was actually a little angry at the stunt woman after the scene because he didn't like the way that she did the stunt. But it's one of those things where, well, we don't really have time to do it again, so I will just deal with it. But he was not happy with the way that she contorted or moved in midair or whatever. But yeah, he specifically remembers taking this stunt woman aside and telling her that that's not what he was asking for. So yeah, that is debunked. There was no male stuntman dressing in drag in the New Blood. But back to the letter. Now to the men I got the autographs for you from. Peter Weller couldn't have been more kinder. I asked him about a more obscure movie of his, The Order, starring Heath Ledger. He was stunned that I was aware of it. He told me how great Heath was to work with. They spent a lot of their off time uh, sightseeing in Prague, where they shot the movie. I wanted to ask about Leviathan, but I didn't want to hold up the line. I told him the name of your YouTube channel. He misunderstood it at first. He said there's a show on YouTube called OCP Communications. I told him it was a username for a channel on YouTube. He then understood. He found it pretty cool once he got it. That is great. So Peter Weller, RoboCop himself, is now aware of my YouTube channel. That's really cool. Thanks for the shout out, Corey, to Peter. Mitch was the one that I was the most nervous to meet. I was nervous that my fandom for Shocker would be too weird. I told him how Shocker inspired me to make a commemorative necklace in memory of my old friend, classmate Molly. I referred to her as my Allison. He found it to be sweet. When he wrote the finger looking good line on my picture, he told me how he argued with Wes over that line. In the end, he's happy Wes made him say it. Mitch making these convention appearances is thanks to my friend Dominic. He was responsible for me meeting Larry Cohen, Duncan Rager, Stephen Mockton, the guy who played the Mummy, the Monster Squad, which I did get autographs from all of those, thanks to Corey. All the thanks goes to him. Hope you like them. Merry late Christmas and a happy New Year, man. Your friend Corey. Thank you so much, Corey. I wish you a happy New Year as well. Hope you had a awesome, great Christmas. And yeah, that's the vlog. Until next time, until the next video, I'll see you later. See ya.